Minecraft has dug out a niche for itself on YouTube, and though its mainstream popularity has waned at times, when it returns to the limelight, it does so with a furious fever, capturing new and old audiences alike. Categorically, when analyzing Minecraft's past popularity peaks, the driving force that spurs on these spurts of attention to the game has been innovation. Not necessarily innovation in terms of updates pushed out by Mojang, but rather, Minecraft content grows in popularity if content creators themselves innovate within the medium of Minecraft. When, for example, SMP Live exploded, it was because its premise was fundamentally novel, and as we all very well know, humans have used the internet to corrode our attention span to that of a goldfish's, so any new and novel stimuli is usually enough to garner attention. And if that goldfish-like attention span is any indication, I've probably gone too long already without talking about the actual subject of this video. See, in the past, content creators have all collectively evolved at a sluggish rate, adapting to innovation after the fact. Someone would accidentally stumble upon a formula that works, and everyone would scramble to emulate it as quickly as possible to milk it dry for a temporary increase in popularity, until eventually that innovative concept becomes part of the newly updated status quo. Then it's just back to square one. The whole process repeats cyclically ad infinitum. But throughout the entire history of Minecraft, no, in the history of YouTube, there has only been one YouTuber intelligent, cunning, and capable enough to kickstart another phase of content evolution single-handedly and intentionally. So, without further ado, in this video, I talk about Minecraft YouTuber Dream's meteoric rise to fame and the strategy he used to speedrun an entire website. Also, according to YouTube statistics, only a very small percentage of people who watch my videos are actually subscribed to the channel. Mostly because my audience itself is very small, but that's an entirely different problem. So, if you enjoyed the video and would like to see more deep diving analysis like this, consider subscribing to the channel. It's totally free, and you can always unsubscribe if you change your mind. So, with that out of the way, how did Dream hijack an entire video sharing platform and break records that had previously only been set by notorious speedrunner Jake Paul? Well, let's take a look at the timeline of events that led up to Dream's rise in power. I would argue that the Minecraft revival began with Schlatt. I would argue that he'd probably agree with me, and probably do so jokingly too, but the truth is that Schlatt really was more influential to the revitalization of Minecraft in the internet limelight than he'd like to admit.
Suck my own cock here, but if you look at Google Trends, the month where a tribute to Minecraft came out is like where Minecraft started going back up a little bit.
Yeah. Oh shit.
Yeah, it's all me, dude. It's all fucking me.
It's fine.
I take 100% credit for the revival of Minecraft.
And though he didn't single-handedly bring it back from the brink of obscurity, he did do wonders to destigmatize playing it. Jay Schlatt's video, A Tribute to Minecraft, resonated heavily with those who watched it. Prior to this point, Minecraft had been in a little dark age of sorts, with the game labeled as cringe and for kids. Some loyal YouTubers and fans remained dedicated to the game, and it was by no means desolate and entirely defunct, but as far as the collective cultural consciousness of the internet was concerned, Minecraft was functionally a dead game. Now, Schlatt's tribute to Minecraft wasn't the sole factor which served to bring the game back into the mainstream. To say it did so would be blatant embellishment. What it did do was enable certain key people to see the game in a different light. The video gained traction because it succinctly voiced the inner monologues of those who watched it. It was an embodiment of their desire to return to a simpler, happier, and more nostalgic time. And just like Schlatt, when many of these former players booted up the game again for the first time in a long time, they all realized the same thing. The game had changed, and so had they. But that didn't mean Minecraft wasn't fun. It still was. It always was. Always had been. And as soon as people remember that simple fact, Minecraft started taking off again. Slowly, at first, but it gradually picked up steam. And at this point in time, the game peaks ever so slightly in popularity, but soon falls back to more or less where it was before. However, this isn't why the tribute to Minecraft is important. It's because this video is the catalyst for literally everything that comes next. And what eventually comes next, as a result of this video, is an increasingly interconnected series of events that culminate in the single most important event in Minecraft's history on YouTube, on the internet. July 17th, 2020. Now that we've established the concrete beginning and end of the timeline we'll be exploring, let's fill in that middle portion. Call Me Carson starts SMP Live, a live streaming only server. At the time, Carson thought it would be funny to invite a YouTuber whose only true qualifications in the realm of Minecraft were that he'd made a video memorializing his experiences with it. However, those were still attractive qualifications indeed, as they could provide a sort of ironic claim to fame for the server. Luckily, J-Schlatt was on the exact same page as Carson and played into the Tribute to Minecraft guide bit flawlessly, accepting the role and the implications that came with it. During SMP Live's first day, the streams grew in popularity and attracted the attention of YouTuber AntVenom, self-proclaimed childhood hero of Schlatt. One thing led to another. Schlatt and AntVenom had a friendly disagreement about a music disc, and then suddenly, SMP Live had stakes for the viewer to get invested in. For the first time in years, Google searches for Minecraft stop fluctuating and start trending straight up. May 24th, 2019. Captain Sparkles joins the server, in no small part thanks to the presence of other large creators like Carson, AntVenom, and Schlatt. Searches for Minecraft peak at this point before dropping back down slightly. But don't worry, though, they won't stay like that for long. June 21st, 2019. With Minecraft surging in popularity again, PewDiePie starts what he initially assumes will be a one-off Minecraft series for Gaming Week. He is, of course, wrong. And as the series grows in length, the world seed on which it takes place becomes a valuable tidbit of information that most viewers don't even know that they want. Fair warning though, this next part gets pretty crazy, like actually insane. July 14th, 2019. Dream releases a 6-minute video detailing the process he used to try and reverse engineer PewDiePie's world seed. It passed 1 million views at a time when Dream's channel was well under 100,000 subscribers, making it his most successful video at the time. And all of it, literally took place on the exact same day that search traffic for Minecraft reached its highest in recent history. For context, the last time that searches for the game had reached this volume was in 2015, and that was when Minecraft was in its decline. Dream's video was literally timed perfectly. 5 days later, on July 19th, the seed was actually found, and Dream uploaded a rushed video urging people to check his Twitter for the results. From there, mainstream popularity for the game waned ever so slightly. Minecraft's proverbial day in the sun during the summer of 2019 drew to a close, and attention on the game dwindled, but by then, it was already too late, because the game of YouTube had already been won. Nobody knew it yet, though. Minecraft's boost in popularity during that time period wasn't in vain. It had introduced and reintroduced players to the game in the sweltering heat of the summer, and rebuilt a much larger audience for it online than the one that had existed before. Now, as winter settled in and the snow fell, piling up outside and coating the world in an ocean of blinding white, those players sought comfort and solace from an endless sea of snow in an infinitely more endless sea of content. They sought refuge from the dreary and cold season when they logged onto YouTube, and one man was uniquely qualified to provide the new stimuli that they so desperately lacked and craved simultaneously. That man was Dream. But before we explore the timeline any further, we have to explain why Dream was so uniquely qualified for his YouTube takeover. Up to this point in the timeline, we've spent a seemingly inexplicable amount of time on Call Me Carson's Minecraft server for a video that's supposedly about Dream. Well, it's time to explain why. SMP Live undeniably changed Minecraft on the internet, but it did so unintentionally. Carson and company just thought it would be a funny premise that would be a good bit for a good bit of content, but they didn't anticipate the impact it would have. So if SMP Live is an example of unintentional innovation leading to popularity, then Dream and his content is an example of intentional innovation leading to popularity. And just like the old adage says, luck favors the prepared mind, because Dream was definitely prepared, and as such, he reaped the rewards of luck. I think it's a well-known trope by now to say that Dream is a Minecraft genius with 10 million IQ, but few people appreciate his true genius: business. He invented the now iconic and oft-mocked subscriber analytics spiel at the start of the video, discovered that turning your video description into a jumbled mess of keywords helps with the algorithm, utilized his pre-existing knowledge of the game to create unique video concepts that competitors couldn't hope to replicate, and crafted a unique group dynamic with his squad of friends in order to give his viewers something to become invested in. The Dream team, consisting of Dream himself, George Not Found, and Sapnap, is essentially his channel's through line, something that binds his content together and gives it a consistent focal point that the viewers are drawn back to time and time again. You come to Dream's channel for the novel premise of his videos, like a 1v2 Minecraft speedrun challenge or a deep dive into the history of Herobrine, but you stay because you find yourself invested in the relationships between Dream, George, and Sap. His content exploded in a manner that was unprecedented to everyone on the website but Dream himself, because Dream knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah, those old tweets of his are no joke. He's got YouTube down to a science, to a scientific method, and I can prove that fact in an equally methodical manner. In The Lean Startup by Eric Ries, a book on how fledgling entrepreneurs need to modify their business model to find success, Rees details a stratagem for constant scientific experimentation which allows entrepreneurs to test the actual needs and expectations of their customers by pushing out a product, then rapidly modifying it in a series of successive product iterations to test a hypothesis about the product using the scientific method. The lean startup model is learning-based, meaning that the real net gain of these experiments is knowledge on what your target market is after, and said knowledge is designed to validate or invalidate your hypothesis about the product you're producing. So what does this have to do with Dream? Well, Rees provides a definition for a startup that might provide some insight. Quote, a startup is a human institution designed to deliver a new product or service under conditions of extreme uncertainty. And if that's the case, then isn't a YouTube channel just a one-man startup? And isn't your brand, your channel, persona, social media, posts, tweets, videos, live streams, and the entertainment derived from them the product and service you're delivering to your customers? Now, admittedly, I don't know if Dream has actually read The Lean Startup or not. My guess would be no, but he seems to have an intuitive understanding of its principles regardless. In his early videos, he would test a concept, gauge its reception by his audience, and if it was popular, he would proceed on, modifying and tweaking aspects of the concept to fine-tune it. If it wasn't, then he would execute what Rees calls a pivot, where an entrepreneur is forced to abandon the original vision of a product, but still use and implement the knowledge gained from testing it on the market to inform decisions on a new product. Pivoting is described in The Lean Startup as a difficult process since it involves abandoning hard work and effort put into the original iteration of the product, making it a difficult decision with emotional implications necessarily bound to it. But Dream does it effortlessly and efficiently. As a matter of fact, by this point in the timeline, we've already seen him do it once. When PewDiePie's Minecraft series was getting big, he jumped on the trend and used his technical knowledge to make a short series on PewDiePie's series, and when its popularity waned and his task was completed, the seed found, he pivoted away from PewDiePie-related videos effortlessly. He didn't get fixated or stuck making content about PewDiePie. He refused to let content revolving around someone else define his brand. He'd done what he came to do, and so he pivoted away. That decision takes a remarkable amount of courage, but Dream made it fearlessly. In July, when cursed Minecraft memes were getting big, there he was again, coding the game to recreate the silly edited images into reality, and as we're about to see, when the meme died, as all memes eventually do, he executed a soft pivot, transforming this series and modifying aspects of it into another about unexplained and cursed elements of Minecraft lore. So, from the outside, while it initially looks like Dream has produced an extremely eclectic collection of content throughout his career, in reality, it's all done to maximize the sheer number of demographics he can tap into. Some people like the Manhunt series. Who am I kidding? Everybody likes a good manhunt, after all, but other people like the in this video I coded it so that type videos as well. And Dream is smart enough to know that diversifying his content is good for business, because then all these different demographics that comprise his audience can all find something to satisfy their tastes and content. The benefits of pushing out content near constantly extend far beyond the validated learning gleaned through the lean startup method, however. Uploading frequently helps increase algorithmic traction. Essentially, Dream mercilessly spammed the algorithm to death with his videos until it eventually accepted defeat and relinquished results to him. But most importantly, Dream was in exactly the right place at exactly the right time. And as we've already seen, he was there by design. He saw a trend emerging, a moment on which he could capitalize, and he capitalized on it without hesitation. And by now in our timeline, that strategy is paying off for him. Big time. Dream has finally started to see the success that he's always, well, dreamed of. But he doesn't stop there. He can't afford to. He doesn't let success blind him. And as the gospel of the lean startup himself, Eric Ries, argues, overconfidence kills fledgling startups faster than a lack thereof. Dream doesn't make that mistake. He can't afford to. Now, at the close of the month of October, Dream launched his Minecraft Butt style of content, which allowed him to explore unique concepts for videos outside of the cursed Minecraft series, concepts that those without his technical expertise would be able to replicate for two key reasons. Firstly, these videos were code-intensive, meaning that only Dream & Company possessed the unique know-how to replicate the situations in his videos, so his content was guaranteed to be unique. Second of all, these videos all featured the genesis of the Dream Team. One of the first publicly accessible videos on Dream's channel following the PewDiePie wave of content already features George Not Found and Sapnap right by his side. So anyone trying to replicate Dream's content would be hard-pressed to replicate both the in-game dynamics that the Dream Team had coded and the dynamic relationships between the Dream Team themselves that made their content so entertaining to watch. From here, things scale up pretty quickly, at an exponentially increasing rate. Of his publicly accessible videos, Dream uploaded upwards of 4 times in November and over 13 times in December. This is the time period where Dream as we know him was truly made. During these 2 months of non-stop grinding, despite all the new success Dream had seen thanks to the PewDiePie videos in the cursed Minecraft series, he knew he couldn't possibly afford to rest on his laurels. He had to work at an insane rate, trying desperately to find a formula that would work for him long term. He put everything at stake in these 2 months, and what happened during them defined who he is today. To save time, our timeline from here on out will only cover videos that I deem to be of historical significance to Dream's rise in power. November 19th, 2019. One of Dream's earliest publicly accessible videos in the Minecraft But series. Minecraft, but it rains mobs. November 24th, 2019. Minecraft, but it's confusing. One of the last videos Dreams makes in the Cursed Minecraft niche of content. The unofficial series won't really come to an end until early December, but the meme is well on its way out the door, and Dream's not going to go out with it. December 12th, 2019. Minecraft, but gravity flips every minute. This next one is a big deal for the timeline. The intro speaks for itself.
This video is an absolutely new and unique challenge. I'm gonna try and beat Minecraft before my friend kills me once. If I die, the video is over and I lose. My friend gets a compass to track me and can respawn infinitely. This was crazy intense. Can I beat Minecraft before my friend beats me? We're about to find out. Also, only about
December 26th, 2019. Beating Minecraft, but my friend tries to stop me. The origins of Manhunt as we know it. However, this isn't the only significant development in the timeline that occurs during this video. Dream also sets a goal for 30,000 likes to make a sequel, which is a quantifiable way to gauge interest in a concept and a good way to gain some validated learning, as per the lean startup method. If people like the concept, they like the video, and Dream can learn all that he needs to know. And wouldn't you know it, with views like those, he ends up meeting his goal. Fast. December 31st, 2019. Minecraft speedrunner versus someone trying to stop them. It's not the best title, admittedly, a little too verbose and clunky in a linguistic sense, but damn if it didn't work. Happy New Year, Dream. This is your year. Your hard work is finally paying off. And as an added bonus, January 1st, 2020. SMP Live shuts down. The floor is officially open for a new wave of creators to rise at the same level of all-encompassing Minecraft popularity that Carson and his friends did. But only one person is already ready to do what it takes, and he's going to drag his own squad of friends with him right into the limelight. The year of Dream has officially begun. And now for something completely different. March 12th, 2020. The world grinds to a halt. Schools nationwide finally realized the impending severity of the COVID-19 pandemic. Classrooms shut down early that day, a Thursday, not knowing that they are destined to remain closed until well after the year ends. And it's here again where Dream just so happens to be in exactly the right place at exactly the right time, because it's this pandemic which spurs on the most pivotal development in his career yet. Once again, just like in the winter, people are forced back indoors with nothing to do but search for content to alleviate their boredom. Once again, Dream is the only one truly able and willing to provide. But this time, the audience he provides for shifts ever so slightly. Make no mistake, he still retains his original demographic and engages with them during this critical period, but he also gains a new one. In terms of mortality rate, COVID-19 is an interesting case. Even if the virus itself doesn't kill you, it can still deteriorate your immune system to the point where you're susceptible to other diseases that your body would have otherwise fended off before. And just like how the virus itself opens the door for other diseases, the pandemic as a whole opened the door for Dream's content to infect a new audience, triggering the ongoing epidemic of Dream Team stans. Dream's response to stans is novel when compared to other Minecraft YouTubers. Unlike the crew of SMP Live, Dream has essentially allowed his Twitter stans free reign on fan art, shipping, stanning, you name it. And to some people, this decision is one that's mocked with scorn, but this is actually genius for two key reasons. First, since Dream has cultivated such a disconnect between his green and white blob man avatar and the very real person he actually is behind the screen, shipping and fan art isn't going to affect him because the person that's being shipped in this content isn't really him. It's a hyper-idealized and hyper-idolized version of himself, and he's smart enough to know that. So he can be comfortable with shipping and fan art, in essence, because if the person being shipped isn't really him, then all shipping does is cultivate his brand and increases audience's engagement and retention by appealing to a new demographic who's looking for that sort of thing. Second, in the Lean Startup, Eric Ries details that the first people who adopt a product are the ones who need it the most, and they don't even know what they need. These consumers are called early adopters, and they're critical to understanding your audience since they provide a key insight into the desires of your demographics. Now by this time, Dream already has fans and stans alike, so these adopters aren't that early, but the definition of early adopter fits the stans Dream gained during this time period to a T. The reasoning behind this is simple. Dream's fans and stans desperately needed comfort during the difficult and oftentimes terrifying uncertainty of a major global health crisis, and many of these stans have admitted as such on Twitter. He's their comfort content creator. Once again, Dream was in exactly the right place at exactly the right time to become that for his fans, and so he modified his brand to be exactly what they needed. Looking back on the way that he's recently defended his stance on Twitter, it's clear that he feels grateful that he was able to provide them that comfort during such a difficult time, and that their importance hasn't been lost on him. They've helped bolster his brand, and since the stands were part of a new wave of early adopters spurred on by the pandemic, they helped him better understand the needs of his new audience. March 21st, 2020. Minecraft Speedrunner vs. Hunter. Again, from here, understandably, Dream gives the format some distance while he waits for the light goal to be met, wondering that he may have fatigued his audience by exhausting the premise. If he can't find some way to innovate upon it further, he might have to pivot away from the Hunter format entirely. But of course, he does. Find further ways to innovate, that is. April 19th, 2020. Minecraft Speedrunner vs. 2 Hunters. This video sets the bar even higher. At this point, Dream establishes a few constants of the series which will radically transform and improve it. First, he introduces the concept of multiple hunters, which once again puts the focus of the video on the dynamic of their trio. This drastically improves the entertainment value of the video since it brings the main focus of Dream's channel, the Dream Team, back to the forefront in the Manhunt series. The light goal in this video is higher, and from here on out, these goals will grow exponentially, which in addition to providing the validated learning we discussed earlier, has the added bonus of allowing more time to elapse between the Manhunt videos, making them a big event that viewers will be more willing to come back and tune into. May 13th, 2020. Minecraft Speedrunner vs. 3 Hunters. Say hello to Bad Boy Halo, ladies and gentlemen, and say hello to the big time Dream, because the returns on this video are big. Dream has since uploaded 4 sequels to the 3v1 video, with the grand finale premiering a while back, and it's currently sitting at well upwards of 30 million views, with no telling how much higher it could go. In slightly more recent history, he's uploaded another Manhunt sequel, a 4v1, which reached number 1 on trending and already surpassed its light goal. But in the future, it seems likely that very soon he'll have to commence a new wave of tests for the Manhunt series to determine its future. Maybe he'll run a Twitter poll to gauge interest in a few different options, or a few experimental videos. Maybe he'll just make another 4v1 sequel, or a 5v2, or maybe he'll make another 3v1 Manhunt, but this time a 4th player's in spectator mode following Dream around at all times like a ghost. Maybe he already has another idea of his own besides a 4v1 sequel, and all of my speculation is worth bunk. Whatever the case, while we might be done recounting the history of the Minecraft Manhunt series, we aren't done with the timeline yet, because we haven't reached the end. And before we reach the end, there has to be another new beginning. The beginning of the Dream SMP. Now, the exact start date of the Dream Team SMP as we know it isn't exactly clear, or if it is, I just couldn't find it. But what we do know is that Dream, George, and Sapnap have been playing an SMP together for some time before the IP opened up and allowed more people in. More people like Tommy Innit, who joined on July 4th, 2020 and promptly made more friends than enemies. During Tommy's first day online, his stream grew in popularity and attracted the attention of Dream himself, self-proclaimed childhood hero of Tommy. One thing led to another, Tommy and Dream had a friendly disagreement about a music disc, and suddenly, the Dream Team SMP had stakes for the viewer to get invested in. And these stakes are only multiplied by the interesting rule set of the Dream Team SMP. Much of the content from the server is streamed live, which has an interesting parallel to the lean startup. In order to push out products faster and generate more validated learning, Reese argues that a startup should cut down its batch size, or the increments in which products are produced, to the smallest possible degree without sacrificing quality. Previously, Dream had been able to cut down his batch size significantly during the fall by uploading near constantly, but live streaming on Twitch only shrunk batch sizes further down to their smallest increment. Unlike his past videos, there's no editing needed. You just boot up the stream and generate content continuously, which reduces efforts and batch size simultaneously. Another interesting, and admittedly brilliant Dream SMP rule is the banning of automation. Iron farms, villager breeders, trading halls, guardian farms, and countless more glitches and exploits are banned. The reason why is genius. On SMP Live, XP grinders and automatic farms weren't as commonplace as they would be on a server like, say, Hermitcraft, but they were still around and in a fair number. But when you're running an automatic farm, there's no content on stream to watch. It's just the same repetitive cycle over and over again of you punching at skeletons or any other mob to generate yourself XP orbs. Because of that, the streamer would be forced to entertain their audience entirely on their own, and even the best entertainers can only do that for so long. By contrast, if everything is manual, then there's always some task for a Dream SMP streamer to do, and there's always some visually entertaining aspect of their stream for the viewer to become fixated on. So by banning automation and exploits, Dream was essentially attempting to maximize the total entertainment value the viewer could net from each stream. And while that has worked in ensuring that streams are always entertaining and engaging, the trade-off to that was that the server spawn looks, for the most part, like something a middle schooler would build for their first night on 2v2t. The landscape is more or less ruined, marred, charred, and dotted with the occasional peak of garish cobblestones, all of it remnants of past content, because slowing down to repair the damage they've caused wouldn't make for entertaining content. It might sound counterintuitive at first to let the Minecraft server of one of YouTube's most popular creators to fall into disarray, and it might sound confusing to say that Dream himself is encouraging that, but because of these decisions, the SMP continued to grow exponentially, with some of Tommy's friends like Tubbo and Wilbur Soot getting whitelisted. Wilbur, in particular, will be important for this next bit, because he is really the bridge between two worlds. He is the only old man amongst the young blood on the Dream SMP. During the time elapsed while Dream was rising to power, Wilbur was playing on SMP Live with JSchlatt and starting SMP Earth, where he gave Tommy Innit his start. And now, just as Tommy followed him to SMP Earth, so too did Wilbur follow Tommy to the Dream SMP. That decision would mark the end of the beginning. July 17th, 2020. Wilbur calls in a favor from an old friend so a new one can spend a day with his hero. Tommy Innit takes Schlatt around on a tour of the Dream SMP, with George and Sapnap lagging behind quietly. After gathering some cobblestone, magma, spruce trapdoors, and one funny microphone, JSchlatt opens a private pool in a rather advertiser-unfriendly shed. Fundy goes for a swim inside of it, and Tommy Innit has the time of his life. All in all, a rather innocuous stream. On Twitter, though, that certainly isn't the case. Ban Schlatt is trending, and when Dream awakens, that's the first thing he sees. Now, Dream himself has adamantly insisted that his stand's response to JSchlatt wasn't the reason why he was banned. And I do believe him when he says that, but I also do think that seeing the cries to kick Schlatt on Twitter was the exigence, the catalyst, for Dream to come to an epiphany. I've said it before, and I'll say it again. At the core of all of Dream's most successful content is Dream and his team and their relationship dynamics. And he knows that fact too. That's what draws in the stands. He allows clip channels and shippers to exist simply because the manner in which they recontextualize his content allows him to appeal to a wider audience. And to him, that's a win. He himself isn't going to be posting Dream and George gay compilations, but if someone else wants to, well, all roads lead back to him in the end, so he'll gladly accept people making compilations of himself and his friends because it can further drive his growth and constantly keep the focus on the Dream Team dynamic. He's always accepted his early adopters and the growth they can bring him and his friends, utilizing their sometimes fanatical obsession to elevate himself and his friends. There's a reason why he insisted on bringing his friends with him once he hit the big time. Without them, he wouldn't have been able to become what he is and grown to the heights that he did. And all the while, he's been able to keep the focus on the Dream Team and a small but engaging cast of side characters in the Dream SMP. However, the Dream Team's spiritual predecessor, SMP Live, grew unsustainably out of control, which diverted attention away from the dynamics which were originally at the heart of the streaming-only series. The banter between Carson, Schlatt, Cooper, Ted, and Travis was there at the start. They were just friends playing Minecraft. The group dynamics enabled you to get invested in the quote-unquote storyline of the SMP Live series because you could easily keep track of all the major players, the characters, and their storylines, arcs, and relationships. But SMP Live inhibited its own growth, discouraging stands and clip channels alike from circulating their content and helping it reach a larger audience. That mistake, though, wasn't its most costly. It added too many players, so it imploded, collapsing onto itself. When Dream invited Tommy to his server, he was inviting a friend, and through Tommy, Dream has added numerous other friends of friends, most of which have made for good additions to the group dynamic. But adding Schlatt posed a different risk entirely. When the old gods fall out of favor, and they are exiled from their once great pantheon, to let them back in again is to risk everything you have now. To risk losing what you have attained, it is to risk chaos, destruction, discord, and death. And at the time, that wasn't what Dream was after. So in a way, when Dream banned Schlatt from the Dream SMP for the first time, it was as if he was metaphorically killing the past, rejecting the mistakes his forebears had made, and resolving to do better with the knowledge he had accumulated. He knew Schlatt wouldn't take it too hard. It's nothing personal, just business. And if there's one thing Schlatt understands, it's that.
Why won't you whitelist him?
We're whitelisting too many people. There's so many people on the server now.
And so the changing of the guard was complete. In May of 2018, JSchlatt made one video essay which would lead to him becoming one of Minecraft's most dominant personalities, and just a little over 2 years later, Dream had long since taken his place. If Dream's reign of terror over the internet was an award-winning primetime drama, then this would be the gut-wrenching cliffhanger of a season finale. When the next season started, a few things had changed. Schlatt ends up making a return that caused waves throughout the server and introduced a destabilizing force at play, yet somehow, despite the fact that he was doing exactly what he promised, it felt different. The balance of power had shifted. Before, he was some uncontrollable being of chaos who slipped through the cracks and onto the server. Without Dream's approval, he was outside of Dream's control. But although once he returned, he immediately started sowing the seeds of dissent and division on the server. What was left unsaid was that his reign of terror was only proceeding uninterrupted this time because Dream was letting it happen. Schlatt said he wanted to start a war, and to let him back on, Dream was implicitly acknowledging that he wanted him to start a war too. Dream wanted Schlatt back on, wanted him to generate content, wanted him to cause chaos and anarchy. If Dream wanted to end the Manberg election, or end Manberg, he could have at any time, in any way. He still could, right now. But he didn't. He's letting it happen. He wants it to happen. Schlatt taking control of Manberg wasn't the revenge of SMP Live for being ousted, or his personal revenge for being banned, or his revenge for George Not Found taking away his girl. He isn't some ominous villain in charge of an all-powerful empire, although that's the character he's currently playing. Schlatt's role on the server was, and still is, a feeble resistance against the all-consuming power of Dream and an entire server set against him. Because when the next season started, that was the biggest change. The biggest change was that Dream was no longer the scrappy underdog fighting to climb the YouTube ranks. He wasn't bravely setting out to reckon with the status quo, he became the status quo. The changing of the guard was already complete, and the beginning of Dream's rise to power had finally ended with him attaining more power than he'd ever dreamed of. In SMP Live's heyday, a popular joke on the server was that streamers would mock their chat for constantly asking when Carson would be streaming. It wasn't as if chat could help it. To that demographic, Carson's popularity was all-encompassing. Now on the Dream SMP, Dream himself has attained that same level of all-encompassing popularity, with Wilbur Soot often joking about Dream's subcount or his world-renowned big-brain plays in the same manner that he once used to chide Carson. Through a relentless system of constant uploads, algorithmic analysis, and fine-tuning, Dream managed to turn his skills on Minecraft and the goofy in-jokes he had with his friends into a channel with 11 million subscribers. And now that he's reached the top, Dream has a bird's-eye view looking down on everything else. Things are changing, and he's going to keep changing with them. As I already mentioned, the Minecraft Manhunt series is about to undergo a serious evolution, but that's not the only element of Dream's content repertoire that may be subject to change. It seems to have been cryptically implied that the Dream Team SMP may be running dry on narrative potential, at least from Dream's perspective, and the final war may be drawing near. One thing's for certain, though. No matter what he decides to do next, Dream will proceed ahead with the same calculated strategy that's got him this far. He'll make adjustments to his content and his plans as he sees fit, and he'll keep speedrunning the game, by which I mean YouTube, until one day, someone younger and hungrier and scrappier beats his record, disrupting the status quo and upending the Green Man's hegemony with a new wave of disruptive innovation. But that day is far, far in the future. Now I know what you're thinking. But Frostbyte, you're giving Dream way too much credit. He probably didn't even do half of this stuff intentionally. To which I have to say, you're absolutely right. Yes, I probably am giving Dream too much credit. It makes for a more entertaining video to make egregious and hyperbolic claims like saying that Dream kicking Schlatt was the single most pivotal moment in the history of Minecraft Online, when in reality it was an innocuous moment that was quickly brushed over and forgotten by both Dream and Schlatt. It makes for a compelling narrative to claim that Dream intentionally masterminded and orchestrated every aspect of his rise to power, and used every failure to help him succeed in the end with the clairvoyance of a man who has seen the future and knows his destiny to be assured. Dream obviously never had that level of confidence. Despite all his research, he still had no way of knowing for sure that his YouTube strategy would pay off. But even if Dream only did half the things I've mentioned in this video intentionally, then his strategy for YouTube growth would still be the most methodical and well thought out stratagem in the history of the platform. And that is how Dream speedran, and is still speedrunning, YouTube. What is up, guys? I'm Frostbyte Freeman, and I want to thank you for watching yet another video on Dream. This one was pretty long, kind of a special episode, if you will. As of right now, Dream is sitting at... No, wait, that's an old draft. 10... 9, 10, 10.8. Almost 11 million? Jesus, man. When I started researching for this video, he was at, like, only 8 million. That's literally insane. But that kind of proves my point, since it illustrates how quickly he's been growing. And yeah, as you could hopefully tell, I've been researching this video for quite some time. If you guys want to do a similar deep dive and explore some of the more entrepreneurial concepts mentioned in this video, then I highly recommend procuring a copy of Eric Ries's The Lean Startup for yourself. I barely scratched the surface of what he mentions in the book. It's an excellent read, and I firmly believe that the topics mentioned within it can genuinely make you a better YouTuber and help you to speedrun YouTube, just like Dream. I'm not sponsored by Mr. Ries, I just have a sincere appreciation for the literature he's written. If you enjoyed this video, though, please be sure to leave a like and maybe even share with your friends, and if you want to see more videos like this, then subscribe. I've got more content coming real soon, but if you have any suggestions for topics you'd like to see analyzed by me, then leave a comment down below or just at me on Twitter, and I'll give it some serious consideration. But anyways, that's going to do it for this one. I'm Frostbyte Freeman, and until next time, stay frosty.